I'm Jennifer Shinkai, host of Ikigai with Jennifer Shinkai, a podcast filled with heart-to-heart, long-form conversation between me, an executive coach based here in Tokyo, and my guests, a diverse group of people finding their sense of Ikigai in a host of different ways that are much more nuanced and expansive than a simple and kind of boring four-part Venn diagram. Before we dive into the episode, please do like and subscribe so that you don't miss our next video. And if you want to get in touch with me about coaching for yourself or for your organization, feel free to drop me a DM. Let me know what you think of today's episodes in the comments. Can't wait to hear your takeaways. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Ikigai with Jennifer Shinkai. I am your host, Jennifer Shinkai. And with me today, I have Joe Pournovin. Have I said it right, Joe?
You have.
I have many different versions of this name. Now I've written down, but I didn't look at my notes at this point. But Joe, I've invited on because actually, I was just saying before, it's the first guest I've interviewed for since February, and it's now the end of August. So sorry for listeners who've been waiting for the next episode to drop. This is my way of living my Ikigai, that I don't just want to be delivering content all the time to meet some arbitrary deadline. I want to give stories and spaces for people who I'm really inspired by and really interested in what they're doing with their life and how they're showing up. And Joe, I've been chasing for a while, not knowing that he is also a fellow Northerner from the same area as me, up in the northwest of the UK. But he's also a northeasterner, and he's about 3 kilometers away from me. So probably he'll be hiding from me when he sees me in the street next time. But the reason that I invited Joe on is because I know many, many people who every October for, well, maybe not the last 16 years I've been aware of it, although this is 16 years. Is that right, Joe?
It is.
It is. Have been going on, and my social media feed is filled with the Yamathon. And I'm not going to describe the Yamathon because I haven't joined it myself, and I'm going to let Joe talk about that. But the Yamathon started as something very small, has become this huge movement. I just thought how fascinating that is to track that story and to think about so many of my clients and listeners who contact me have got this idea, but how do I start it? But then also, I think it's really interesting to talk about how to keep things going. So that's what some of our conversation is going to be about. But Joe's not only a community builder, he's also an educator, and he's leading partnership development at Laurus. Have I said that right? No, Laurus. Laurus. I've got my notes and I don't read them, Joe. I'm terrible. Laurus International School of Science, and bridging between education and real world impact. So this is why, to finally, maybe not this year, I'm not going to do Yamathon. I have some other things on, but one day soon, 20th anniversary. Can I commit for that? Will you still be going? I guess you will. But let us all welcome Joe. And maybe you can tell us a little bit your origin story of perhaps first how you got to Japan and then how you started the Yamathon.
Before I do, big thank you for having me on. As you said, you don't do this often, so honored to be on here. Answering your question, how and why I got to Japan. I'll be honest with you. This is going to be honesty all the way through.
Love it.
Finished university, ended up nightclubbing every Friday night and going to walkabout in Manchester and same old songs. Build Me Up Buttercup, great song.
Yeah.
ABBA, Mamma Mia, and there's more to life than Manchester. I loved
Oh, I
Manchester.
don't know.
More to life. And I guess it was just I knew there was something out there, and I just wanted to explore. A lot of my friends stayed in
Mm.
Manchester, and it is a wonderful place. But yeah, just there's more out there, and came through the JET program, albeit it took a couple of years on the reserve list. So
Oh, really?
yeah, it was on the reserve, came on the reserve list twice. Wasn't called up for the first time. Second time, I always remember, getting the letter of saying that you're on the reserve list again. It's like, what? And then I went to a Manchester United game that evening. So it
Oh,
was
sorry
the
to hear that.
worst. It was what I'm a big United fan, but
Oh
it was one
dear,
of the
hang on. End now. I'm an
best
Everton fan. I'm not a
days
City
of
fan,
my
I'm an
life,
Everton
one of the
fan.
worst days of my life,
Oh wow.
because United won 7-1. It was a Champions League quarter
Yeah.
final against Roma, and so Ronaldo scored a couple of goals, and it was a great day. And not only that, I was sat next to one of my heroes, which was Ian Brown, who also played for the Stone Roses. You may or may not know. So it was just a crazy day where I'm like,
That's a wild name drop.
it was like I was hugging Ian Brown, his kids were there. I was hugging him when we scored the third goal, and then I came out feeling amazing, and yet, God, I got another letter, like, you know, to say that I'm still not good enough to come
Oh,
to Japan. So eventually I got called up 6 weeks later, and then they put me in Sendai and was supposed to go to six other schools. Um, but I put in my application form, I can't drive. I don't drive.
mm,
So then it took me another 2 days to pluck up the courage to kind of call them back and say, hey, look, I really want this,
yeah.
but you've put me in a position. And actually, they were really 2 days later, they came back and they said, where do you want to go in Japan? And that was cool because then I could choose. And I did choose. I chose Shizuoka. So it's a crazy story of how I came. And I guess one of the reasons why I do what I do is I promised myself to make the most of this opportunity in Japan. That's why I used to come back from Sale Metrolink station and dream about it. I used to put what are they called? Arcade Fire Lies. It's called Rebellion. It's an amazing song. I used to
Okay.
come back and just dream about Japan. So the fact that I got in, the fact that I'm here, um, that's why I do what I do and continue, just to be as much as I can be here, if that makes sense.
Mm. Yeah, no, it makes a load of sense and really impressive to hear that. Like, I feel like resilience gets overused and it might not quite be the right word. In fact, the word I'm thinking is persistence. Resilience, like to bounce forward, but also the persistence of like, no, I really want this. You've said no once. I'm going to try again. And I'm guessing I just like for people who are applying for stuff now, like you get the ping in your email. But back in the day, it was like you could tell by how thick the envelope was, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
got a sense
yeah,
like, is this a rejection?
yeah.
There's definitely no documents that I need to fill out. So almost like before you've opened it, sometimes you knew, didn't you? Like, oh, this is not for me. It's
Yeah.
like this tiny letter. If it's an
I guess
A4 envelope and it's thick, you're like, oh, they're not going to send that for a rejection. So I sort of feel sorry for people. They don't get that heads up before you unseal. Yeah.
it was flat. The letters were always flat.
Very fun. Yeah. And how great as well that you got that opportunity to, I bet it was going through your mind, right? Like, oh, if I say like I can't drive and I can't go, they're just gonna pull the plug again, right? But
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the
I mean,
Sendai, but you knew you couldn't make it work, right? So
I guess, going back to what you said, it's like a car crash of just not
well,
getting
not a car crash because you could
not
drive.
getting what I wanted, and eventually, you know, getting to where I wanted to be, I guess.
Yeah. So sometimes it just like it takes, I guess my takeaway of that is like sometimes takes a couple of goes, a couple of false starts, and yeah, things will work out when it's ready. And maybe that's totally changed your experience of yeah how you've sort of approached your life in Japan. You're not taking it for granted because it didn't come easily. So working on it. So from that auspicious start, um, Yamathon. Let's
What's auspicious mean?
like a great and good start. That's why I questioned
Okay.
myself. Like it wasn't really that auspicious, although yeah, it was kind of lucky in a way. Um, but so sort of from that starting point to Yamathon, like what was the journey of starting this event, which has now become a movement? I was just seeing like you've raised like 66 million yen, something like that, or is that the goal for this year?
66 million directly, but indirectly a whole lot more. So,
Hold on, I like that.
so
My kind
yeah,
of numbers. Yeah. So how did it all? begin?
I guess the first 2 years was just again coming to Japan was unbelievable, and when you're in your own world in Manchester, and for me, and sorry, and keep bringing it back to the UK, like it's very much the way the time I had in Manchester was very closed, and it's
Mm,
kind of like a cattle market in town on a Friday night. It's kind of like you have your group,
yeah.
and you can break circles into another group, but it's usually because you like another member, or it's very difficult
You're
to
on the
maybe
pull,
it's changed
basically.
now. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think I came into this world into Japan, and it just opened up so many friendships from different countries. Obviously, friendships with Japanese, and I loved it. It was amazing, and I was going out too much, meeting too many people, and it was unbelievable. And I guess after the first year and a half of meeting, drinking, enjoying, it was kind of, well, hang on a sec, what am I doing with myself? How am I progressing?
Mm,
And there was something eating inside of me. Joe, what the hell are you doing? Like you know, you're not progressing with Japanese. You're not really, what are you doing? So I guess then that made me think more into like what can I do? Why am I here? How can I be the best I can be? And I guess the first thing I did was to join a trail walking event organized by a charity called Oxfam. Now, a lot of people from the UK and indeed abroad would know Oxfam. It's an NGO, it's a non-governmental organization fighting for poverty and justice around the world. Now, I had no interest about charity then. I had no interest previously about charity back in my UK days. I guess I used to go to charity shops to buy CDs, cheap CDs,
yeah.
but like and clothes. But I guess I thought let's do it. So I did it, and it was just an unbelievable, feeling to do something with a team of friends and to put yourself do a 100-kilometer walk, start from Odawara, make your way through Kanagawa into Yamanashi area, I think it was at the end, and you know, walking throughout the night with your team of friends, and then I think it was 1 a.m. in the morning. I think it was like the 92K point, and it'd just gone through one of the most difficult parts of the trek, and
Mm,
like a bunch of grandmas out at 1 a.m. It was like 20 of them, and they were cheering us, and I kind of just meant like I started crying, and I
yeah.
just
A little bit. That's really
wow, like
exciting.
what are you doing here? Why are you here? And like just thank you. And that got me thinking more about involving myself in a group. But there's got to be more people out there. I gotta do something else. So that's when I joined Oxfam. They had a volunteer group at the time, an international volunteer group. And again, that same feeling without the drinking, that same feeling of, wow, this guy's in, he's doing really well for himself in IT. Wow, this is an investment bank. I'm just a teacher. An assistant teacher, not even a teacher at the time. I was an assistant language teacher in ALT. But hey, I'm mixing with these amazing minds, and hey, we're putting on some kind of events to help others. And it became a drug. It became an addiction,
Mm,
really. I became an awareness coordinator for them at the time, and I started organizing workshops about issues around the world, Sudan, Sahel crisis, Congo, and then we started thinking bigger. Instead of just doing a workshop for 10, we started, hey, organizing partnerships. I think, who was it with? Waseda, we did something with where we had, I think it was like 100 attendees. And it was like, hey, now we can take this bigger.
yeah.
Um, so it was an addiction to grow things. That was from the start. And then we were like, there's got to be more we can do. So we organized a challenge to climb Mount Fuji from the sea. And that was incredible. We got attention from the Japan Times put us on page 3, and it was like a whole article, like took most of the page. And it was like, wow, we can do more. But climbing through from Fuji from the sea and taking 80 odd people wasn't. it was an amazing event, but we were lucky. So
Yeah.
we
And you
wanted to,
couldn't do that now, could you?
we could with the right
Hmm.
partnerships, and now probably we're in a better position than
Right. You've got a bit more
when,
jiseki like experience and what's the word I want to say? Like gravitas or like people take you seriously is basically.
yeah. So we kind of decided what can we do in Tokyo? What can we do? Take people on that same journey of connection.
Yeah.
Um, you move from light conversation to connection, to deeper connection, to pain, to getting over pain, to ecstasy, and to continued bond, lifelong bond. And that's how we moved into Tokyo Yamathon land, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's really reminding me of like pre-COVID, I was quite into Spartan racing.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
like those bonds that I made with my team members, where we were all like effing and jeffing and it was like really uncomfortable. And especially there was one we did the Beast, which is it's yeah, it's like the sprint, the super or the Beast. And that was it was the first time they'd done it in Japan and it was on a ski slope. So the first 3 kilometers were just going like up the ski slope under where the gondola goes. And it's like, I'm already shattered. And there's just so many times that we're like, should we stop? Should we go back? Who'll go on? Like how will we regroup? And but like those people that experienced with it, yeah, like you've just seen everyone at their worst. And so you'll also know who they are at their best, if that makes sense.
You,
You've
yeah,
like gone
completely,
through that awful.
completely. And I've lost touch with many. I did that. I ended up doing it 4 times. I was so much of a bigger fan of Trail Walker. And then even Oxfam contacted me for the 5th time and said, "Hey, we've got a German team come, and they've lost one member. Do you want to fill in?" So I ended up doing it with a German team, a bunch of random, wonderful people.
Yeah.
Um, but doesn't matter who you've done it with, what you go through and what you take from it. And even if you haven't seen them for years, you still think you look back, and when you see them again, it's like, wow, how are you doing? It's been a
Yeah.
while, you know?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
different kind of how are you? It's a real, hey, how's it going? If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, definitely. It sort of makes sense. Now I used to be a bit sneery about like, outward bound team building courses stuff. Just thought, oh, it's always like really lame. But I kind of understand more the point of them for, going through that trial in a different way and kind of like being with your teammates in a different way. And it's something I'm sort of trying to talk to my daughter about at the moment, like about friendships. It's like you have to put the time in,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like friendships for me, like a deeper friendship comes from going through stuff together. And it can be like going through great things together, like being a fan of something together that can and having those highs, right? You talked about like the ecstasies, but you can also be going through challenges together and overcoming that, I think can be
Yeah.
the base of a powerful relationship. But we digress. So thinking, you said, what can we do in Tokyo? How are we gonna do something that we can scale differently? So the Yamathon was born, and I don't know how you could sort of shorten the journey from year one to year 16, but what different phases did you have? How would you tell that story?
I guess the different phases is just the same as I am now. When I talk about with I guess passion intensity, I was exactly the same back then. We came up with the idea, and within 2 months we organized a Facebook event. And 6:30 a.m. we all met at Yogi Park. They there was no finish line. That they'd finish at Yogi Park, and then we'd meet them in Ebisu at a pub, the Footnik, great pub.
Yeah,
Love the
shout
Footnik.
out to the Footnik. Link in
And
the show notes.
yeah, and so but it was so strange because you obviously they're exhausted, but they wouldn't shut up about their day. They would not. They still had so much energy, even that they were exhausted, that they'd gone through 40K. They still wanted to connect and talk about it, and that gave the team the energy to move forward. And we're like, hey, we've got something here.
Mm.
So I got really excited, too excited. I contacted the embassy. I'm like, I had no connections or relationships myself at the time. I was just as ALT. And I'm like, contact the embassy. Hey, we got something amazing. We're doing this for charity. And they were like, no, sorry. And then they were again like, no. So I contacted them again. All right, we'll come and see you. Come and see us. And then they couldn't really do much and completely understandable. But they connected us to very big airline. Um, and that was insane. Like, because we went there thinking, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to be great. This is going to be amazing. And like the questions like, where's your website? Don't have one. Do you have police clearance? Do you know about your event? No.
They
So
might, they might find out if we're on the streets. Yeah, yeah, right. Like all
it
the
was a
compliance stuff.
real wake up call. And I guess that's when we decided how are we going to maintain this? But we wanted to keep 100% of the team registration fee goes to the charity, empowers our participants to donate. So how can we grow it without any money? And that's when we decided, well, let's look at sponsorship. Let's look at, global companies have money to spare, hopefully. So that's when we started looking at funding. And originally it was a friend now who's on our team who lifted us up. They gave us a tent. They funded a tent so that we won't be soaked. Um, and then it was just like, again, websites. We get the website up
Yeah.
and that gives exposure for company. Fund us and we'll give you exposure. And it's just then branched out and branched out. And it's also it's connected to sponsorship. It's connected to people's enjoyment. And doesn't matter how small you are, if somebody enjoys your product, if they enjoy it, then it's going to continue to grow. And that also connects with the team inside. The team then gains motivation from that, and we become even more, I guess, determined to move forward. It doesn't matter whether you're getting paid or not. In our case, we're not getting paid, but it's more about growth and happiness, making other people happy. And that's how you can't put a price tag on in this day and age on the impact you have on others and you feeling that and being a part of that's what I'll put it down to, I guess.
Oh, it's full body goosebumps, Joe, as you're talking. Your passion and your, just I can feel the ikigai of you, right? Like the energy, this feeling of like it's worth being alive because I get to do these things and this is the impact that I'm having. And like one of the things in the sort of Japanese rather than the Western version of Ikigai is really about like feeling that you matter and feeling that you make a difference to other people. People are kind of, yes, relying on you. So maybe in a role as a caregiver or as an educator that's there, but it's a different type of reliance. I think that I'm able through the space, or you are able through the space that you create to just build these moments for those people to feel a sense of fulfillment and a sense of like self-actualization and teamwork and fun. And like I did a hard thing. I just can imagine there's so many people. Like I know that in Yamathon, there's a lot of people who are like serious runners and they're aiming for a time, and like that's still a challenge for them. But there's a lot of people I think who are on that starting line who don't know if they can finish,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
completely,
And I think
completely.
that that's like a really powerful, this is also marketing cringe, but like really powerful demographic to aim for. Of course, it's brilliant to be like the fastest team and that, but to be the team that we didn't know, but we did. Like to Joe, for you and your team to be able to give someone that opportunity to surprise themselves. What a gift. What an
And
absolute gift for the world. I think it's beautiful.
the problem with me is I've got too much passion. I just like
No.
I'm talking now, and you're completely right. It's you know an army of good people coming together to raise funds and awareness for people who need it, but at the same time giving other people a platform to be the best they can be. And whether that's physically, whether that's mentally. I remember I was going through something on the first ever Yamathon day, and I was going through something. I was really like, I don't know if I can do this myself. And the fact is that it takes you, takes those people get involved, it takes them away from reality. And reality can suck sometimes, as
Oh
we
yeah.
all know. So giving people a day just to reconnect with themselves and get away from issues that may have been bothering them throughout the week. And that's something so powerful as well. It's not only helping others who need it and providing a platform for others who need it, but physically and mentally helping people get out of their reality and just getting themselves away from the daily grind it can be so hard sometimes, life, can't it? That's what
Mm,
I get.
definitely. Yeah. And doing that with your little group, right? Like that little system, and then the system of like all of these other teams. And I'm sure there's a wonderful camaraderie like between the teams as well. Like, because everyone's got their bibs on. So I think when you're in that kind of um, public space and you have that shared identity, it's kind of like being in the in group is kind of cool, but it's something special, right? There's us, and it's so rare in Tokyo to like say hi to someone in the street and just to be like actively. I remember I joined Vanessa Oshima. Do you know Vanessa Oshima?
Honestly, I've stalked her because she wrote a lovely comment about Yamathon, and I've always been very grateful. It was a few
Yeah.
years ago. It was like, wow. So I know her by name and comment, and that is all.
Well, yeah, she's a keep stalking. She's an amazing, amazing human being. And she did run slash walk for her cancer charity.
Right.
And we all got these orange t-shirts, and it was maybe similar to the Yamathon. It wasn't a sort of everybody's running the same course at the same time event. It was I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically the type of event where you just run from 10 kilometers to a location.
Yeah.
So you all finish in the same place, but you can all start 10 kilometers away from. But it was cool because as you got closer, there were more of these orange t-shirts. And like people were, oh, it was so nice. And then you get there and it was this big celebration, and Vanessa's grinning away, and everyone, yeah, is just there to support each other. Wonderful day out. And of course,
Sorry, that
yeah,
is such a cool idea. That is such a cool idea. Like I've never heard of it, and wow, that's such a
it's got a name. It's a thing, but I can't remember what it's called. So we will research that afterwards and put it in the show
I
notes.
put it
Note,
down.
note to self. Yes, it's another way of like organizing an event so that you only need to have your final location permit.
Yeah,
There's no
so it's
course.
easy to organize. Wow.
There we go. Yamathon 17.0 may have a new watch this space.
See
Yeah.
what the wife says.
New one. Yeah, maybe don't name me as the troublemaker who suggested this another idea. But it's like those cool ideas of oh, I didn't know you could do it in that way. I hadn't thought about that. And I think one of the things that like changed with the Yamathon is that it was originally just was the full route, and now you have how many races? Is
Yeah,
it?
I mean, let me backtrack again a
Hmm.
bit because I don't think I fully explained what Yamathon is. So
Oh,
Tokyo
no, I don't think
Yamathon.
we have. So
No,
we got
it's my
straight in there.
fault 'cause I talk too much.
No, no.
Tokyo Yamathon is a team challenge, it's a community impact challenge in which teams of 3 to 4 people will compete to walk around Tokyo's uh, very famous JR Yamanote line in under 12 hours. The whole circle to walk is approximately 42 kilometers. When I did it, I think it was 42 and a bit kilometers. So it mirrors a marathon. We're not a marathon in the essence of running. Um, we'd get into trouble for that, and that for that reason, it's a walkathon. We have 3 elements. We've got the full, which is the 42K, the half, which is approximately 21, and then we've just introduced a new part, which is a half, essentially a quarter, but basically that's approximately 10K, and that's for first time. I won't say first time walkers, but people who don't have the who don't you know don't have the confidence to walk 20K. Never mind, and that's completely understandable.
Yeah.
And it's also, I guess, catered towards families as well.
Mm. Right. So you can go with younger members too.
So it's younger members, and just one more thing, I guess it's 100% of the team registration fees go to our MPO partners, and that's very, very important to us. And that's ever since it's the whole reason why we organize this event. How can we bring people together? How can we raise funds? And that's been with us ever since we started in 2010
Mm.
until, what is it, 15, 16 years now? So yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And I remember when we were chatting, planning this episode out, and so obviously you have this goal, right? That all the money is going to go to the charities, and you've talked about the need to how do you run something then without the donations are not making any difference. And you talked a little bit about the challenges that you first faced when you were going into some of those clients and kind of pitching. You highlighted a little bit like that. Well, the story that you told before about that first client, the large airline, who said, "What about this? And what about this?" That seems like one of those brilliant, like looking back, you go, "That was such a great learning." Like you pitch your idea, and people say no, and you realize what you're missing, and no one has it perfect like the first time anyway. Um, but one of the other things that we talked about was like how you were kind of judging yourself a little bit and imposter syndrome that was coming up. So I wonder if you could share a little bit about that experience and where you're sitting with that topic now.
Um, wow.
It was a big lead in on that question, not a coaching question.
All right. So best thing I can explain it as, I was coming in originally as an ALT and
Mm.
then suddenly putting myself, going to meetings with big companies. Um, and at the start, I felt completely out of place because I was, wasn't from that background. No, you look down and you're on the 42nd floor of a building overlooking Tokyo Station and feeling mighty small. And, these guys are coming in, these people are coming in and they're very successful. They're there for a reason. And why are they giving up their time for you? Like what? And then you just get panic. And this is something that I've carried throughout, and I still have issues. You know, in this, I call it imposter syndrome. It's this feeling where you don't feel like you belong. And I have I overcome it? I'm still dealing with it. I have had success, and obviously, Yamathon is organized by a team. Um, but personally, you know, meeting with these banks and global companies, I guess the way I see it is that my weakness has become my strength. The fact that I'm not from a corporate background, the fact that I'm not well versed and in terms of what I'm going to say, and anything might pop out of my mouth for better for worse, but whatever it is that I'm human, and I will come in and I will be who I am, and I will. This is who you're going to work with, and I think people appreciate that. That you're not coming in pretending you're bigger than who you say you are. You're coming in from passion. You're coming in from a human, and then accept it. And people, I guess that's when you come through a passion. When you come in into a room with passion, and that you are genuinely wanting to help people with your idea. People really appreciate that, and then that's when you build your army of good people, and the army that we have, this small international volunteer group, then extends out. And that's where I just feel that while I still am dealing with imposter syndrome in every aspect of my life, and being yourself, the weakness, putting a weakness out there, it can be your strength. And that's I guess my biggest takeaway of my 15 plus years of doing this.
Right.
Oh,
I love that. Yeah, that idea of that people appreciate the way that you're showing up. And I think as well that because you're not masking who you are, when they say yes, they know what they're saying yes to, right? So it's
yeah,
not like suddenly you have to, oh, they're like, oh, hang on, this Joe's like this. Well, I had no idea because he's now totally different from when we first talked to him. Like when you show up with authenticity, there is a huge risk that people will not like it and say no. But when you show up trying to hide that who you are, and I don't want to call it a weakness, it's just who you are, right? You just don't have corporate experience. It's not a weakness. It's
well,
just
now I do. Now I do. I
now you
mean,
do. But like at that, those times like those, we all have those identities that we perceive, or maybe not we all, sorry, many people, I'll say let's use I words. I have those identities that I perceive are going to be like a blocker in a certain space, but they are what they are. I'm not going to change them. So just they're here. Um, I find though that if I try to cover them up too much and mask them, then it's a really hard job to kind of sustain that.
yeah.
Like I have to continue to pretend to be this. And it's like, no. And that's not just me. I know that that is something which happens across organizations, people of different identities and masking stuff. And it's such a waste of energy. And this is what I think with this is more of diversity and inclusion conversation than an Ikigai, but I think it's still connected. It's like, how do you want to live? But that idea of, well, this is who I am. This is what I can and cannot or will not do. I think that's really important to like be clear about that. And this is also like, these are the boundaries or the values that will guide me. It's just reminded me of like one conversation. My co-coach and I were doing a BA and I were doing a session, inclusion session, diversity inclusion session for a big Japanese company. And they said, can we do it on a Saturday? And I said, no. Caregivers. Can we do it after 7 o'clock? No. Caregivers. Can we do it before? No. Can we do it at lunchtime? I was like,
Oh,
not ideal, but okay, because at least it's within the working hours. But it was like, so this was the point. Like, if I am going to be talking about the importance of inclusion, I can't be doing this work outside of working hours, even though they're like, but these are billable hours for our people. I'm like, yeah, I know. And this is a topic which is relevant to those billable hours. But I think it's what I'm trying to say is there are things that you believe in, about your mission, about where you're willing to sort of hide yourself or not, or to maybe if someone's, one of the sponsors at one point said to you, well, I think you should start to take 10% for, administration costs. I'll sponsor you this much, but you need to commit to that. I get the feeling that you'll be like, no, it's all right. We'll find our money somewhere else.
yeah. I think it's just, and I think it's important to be who you want to be, and you know, it's not just relevant to what we're doing at Tokyo Yamathon and IVG Japan, but more for anyone who's out there who's thinking of changing a career or a little bit worried or um, you know you can't hide passion. You can't even if you have perceived weaknesses or whatever, you can't hide passion. It'll take you even further than you know where you may perceive you have the weaknesses, if that makes sense. You know,
Yeah, it can like compensate for, or like not compensate, but like overcome
yeah,
those perceptions, and it's like
because it's
really,
genuine. It's
yeah,
genuine.
yeah, and infectious to other people as well, right? To like feel that and be like, oh, and a breath of fresh air. I imagine in many of those rooms, it's like,
Yeah,
haven't had someone come in and talk so excitedly about something. And I think that can also help when you come in as an outsider, because you're not like in all of the politics in the same way, and you can step away from that too. So that's another great about having something else in addition to like your day job, right? That you can
completely.
to put energy into that, because yeah, like if you're coming in as a volunteer or in that situation, yeah, different sides of yourself can show up, which we can't always, like I talked about people masking, and for many people, like that's a survival tactic. And I'd love to say, don't, unmask at work and like bring your whole self, but nobody wants to see the whole self of me. I don't want to bring my whole self to work, actually. But to have somewhere where you can express that passion, I think is
Yeah.
really important, right? Yeah.
And you can still use your, well, you can still use your every part of your day to get to where you want to be with your passion. Like, I think I was checking my schedule earlier and I've just put in lunch. I, I put lunch in at different times, and that's because I've got pretty much meetings every uh, lunch this week, and
Yeah.
that's where passion takes you. It'll take you to the combini just to grab it. It's probably not healthy, but it takes
Mm.
you to unlock every minute of your day to get to continue where who you want to be and where you want to go, I guess.
Well, that actually brings me to another theme of our conversation, because like 16 years of doing something which has grown and grown and grown. And you talked about like the addiction to the energy and all of those things. Like how do you not burn out, Joe? How do you keep going?
Because I think I am like many other people out there who are like me, just thirsty for life and just will push themselves in every other direction. And you know, it's funny, I've got my kid Shoji is like, he comes in and, Dad, are you on a Zoom meeting? And like, yeah, he knows what a Zoom meeting is. He's only 6 years old. He come in and say hello. And I think there's so many of us out there, and it's same with yourself. It's why you push yourself to do these, you know, podcast sessions with crazy people like me. It's like it's an urge to kind of give more than you have because you just it's this craving inside you, and there's a whole army of people out there, and I don't know how I balance it all. My wife, sometimes she loves me, sometimes she hates me for it, and I politely remind her that this has been the whole me, and I've not changed.
Yeah.
Um, how do I deal with it? I run when I can, so I go running, but I'm still pushing myself with running. So, um, I get up early. Um, Occasionally after 3 weeks, I do burn out, and I'm like, Kari, I need to give me an hour, let me sleep, and she'll give me that. And I don't know how I deal with it. I've just signed up to Headspace. You
Right.
know, I'm, I'm I'm still dealing with it, I guess. I'm still
Yeah.
finding mechanisms, but I guess the way of the way of continuing it is just meeting more people like me, I guess. So
Right.
and that gives me energy, like meeting you. Uh,
Mm.
I feed off other people's, and it's kind of it's like do you call it predator, or I don't know what predator is like. It's the movie. It's like, or I'm trying to think of a movie, Outbreak or something. Like
Oh my
it's like
goodness.
you kind of feed from other people's
Right.
energy, and that
Yeah.
and they give you growth, they give you ideas, they give you more energy and more motivation, and you continue to build, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yes. I'm not sure it's like a kind of parasitical feeding. I think it's
I don't know how.
yeah,
I
a
do, I do.
healthy
I
ecosystem.
I, I feed from other people's energy, of course. People are
Like a
going
Doctor
through.
Who
All
episode.
right, I don't know if it's parrot, but I just it is.
It's classic extroversion, maybe.
I'm not extroverted, definitely not. Because another quick story about me. I
Mm.
hate networking events, and I get panic attacks when I go to these networking events. I have to have a halftime team talk with myself in the toilets to kind of pull myself together, which I don't. I'm not extra. Maybe I come across that way, but I don't know. I just
Mm.
people, and that's my, I guess, Ikigai, if that's what you call it, is people, man. They take you they keep you going, and ah, yeah, that's it.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Yeah. Well, I think there's something about, networking it's like people with a purpose, and it can be just sort of fake and cringy. But I think what you're talking about is like that energy from people who are like you've talked about, like the army and like the team, or like-minded people who are sort of moving for that same goal. And when you meet someone and you feel, this person gets it, or this person, and maybe as you're thinking about like the team for Yamathon specifically, it might be like, what's this person adding that we don't already have, right?
Yeah.
Like each new person is going to bring like this whole background of experiences, this whole new worldview, that can like take the Yamathon somewhere else, so that we're helping more people through the donations, but then we're also, like creating all these experience for the team members, the participant teams. So like that, it's almost like every person that you meet when you're in that mindset has got like the potential of like what might come. But maybe you're feeling with networking's like, business card exchange and judgment, right? Who are you? It's
Yeah, I
different
think
vibes.
definitely, and I think people can get our team like so many characters. We've got senior executives, and sometimes they get a bit grumpy at me, but you just suck it up, and hey, they know they're in those positions for a reason, and that's where I'm learning. I'm not just feeding from their energy. I'm feeding. I'm really gaining. I'm learning from them. You got others are so amazing with people. They've got this natural aura. I'm like, how can you be like that? How can you just be so, amazing with people? And that's something that I'm not just people's energy, but just the ability to learn from others and further yourself in terms of soft skills, which I still am learning, I guess. And so the team just, what a wonderful team we have. And that's when you talk about Yamathon, how we've grown for 16 years. Key, huge reason, like, is the team. And we see the way that we grow and how much we've done together, and we keep motivating each other, and we keep having these calls. I have a call with Liv at, when it's 8:30 a.m. Jan and I meet at 8 a.m. in the morning. We do calls. I had a call yesterday at 8:30 p.m. and we're very much alike. Again, every
Hmm.
part of the day we kind of keep keep going, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm talking too much.
No, not at all. That's the job of the guest. So keep talking. It's good. It's good. But I do know that we are coming to the end of our time together. So first of all, let's, before I ask you what's the question I shouldn't have asked you, I should have asked you that I haven't asked you. Yeah, that makes sense. The question that I want to ask you is, how can people get involved in the Yamathon? Now, we're recording this at the end of August. Hopefully, it will go out before the sign up deadline, but it might not. So let's assume people can still sign up. When's the sign up deadline? How do they go about it? And what are other ways that people might get involved this year or in future years?
Well, firstly, this isn't a promotion. The way
Promote
I say it,
away, promote away.
no, and I'm going to
Yes.
be honest. No, let's be honest. The reason why I'm doing this, I think you messaged me last year, and then you messaged me again, and I think you said, did I dream I asked you?
I
And
couldn't find any like internet trail. It's like, I'm sure I've asked him. Did I ask him? There was like nothing on LinkedIn. What did I ask him? How did I ask him? So I was like, did I dream it up? Because definitely you've been on my list for ages. So I just reached out. Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not doing this for promotional purposes, and I want to get that out there. This is the first ever podcast I've done. I I need to learn, and this is part of why I'm pushing myself to do this again. I find it so difficult sometimes being put on camera, and I get so aware, and I find that even now I struggle to put across how I feel. So I need to put myself in uncomfortable situations, and I also hold a responsibility, that to share my personal story and the story of our team. And I, it's the reason why I continue doing what I do. It's not only because I enjoy feeding and I feed from other people's energy. It's because we have no option we don't have a reason. We can't stop, you
Mm.
know. And I have to keep going. The team has to keep going because so many other people rely on us. Um, MPOs, I got a message from an MPO to 2 days ago saying, "Hey, thanks so much. We actually had a meeting with another company and they wanted to donate. They're giving us a big donation, and we asked them why. How did you know us? It was because of Yamathon. We have no, we got to keep going with it. So I'm doing this for other people. I have a responsibility, and that's why I'm doing this. And I'm sorry, it's a long answer. So let me come back to you. Why? How can you get involved? Jesus, get involved. Come and join the team. We have a team of 15 of us um, from different industries, um, and we share. Come and give us your whatever you've got, and get involved and see why other members have joined and continue to work with us for so many years. And that's the number one way. We're a team of 15 people.
Wow.
Taking on an event of 3,000 participants,
Gosh.
12 plus global sponsors. We need
Like the
help.
A team, aren't you? Like, just this small band of.
Oh, we need help, Mark.
Okay, so this is a clear one. So,
So we need help.
so like
Yeah,
join the team, like, but as in the Yamathon organizing team committee, be part of the human resources to make the
part
event
of the
happen.
team. If
Yeah,
you don't have that time, then come and volunteer with us on the event day. Be a team leader. We've got 150, we have 300 volunteers on the day, and we have 100, probably 100 of them, 150 of them are international school students or high school students. So become a team leader, help empower them, or try before you buy and, participate, get involved, take a walk with us and let us take you on a journey that you will never
yeah,
forget, I guess.
yeah. So the deadline for so you can become a member of the Amazon team any time of the year. That's good.
Yes.
How about for volunteering? When would people need to register by approximately?
Mid-September, I guess, so that we can,
Mid-September. And the event is happening on October the 4th, I believe.
Saturday, 4th, yeah.
Yes. October the 4th. And so it should be like still quite warm. So watch out for Show, everybody. Take
Indeed,
your
indeed.
water and everything. And I think the deadline to apply for team entry is September the 10th. Is that right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think it's
So
Wednesday,
this might be a bit late. So sorry,
September
but
10th.
please put it into your calendar for next year if you want to put a team together. What, like early August is when you open registrations?
Yes,
Yes.
we open no July we open on
Oh,
registration.
July, right. So you can be first in because as we were talking at the beginning, I can't remember if it was when we were recording, like the half of the half is already sold out. The half is sold out, but the full Yamathon, as of today, August the 18th, is when we're recording, is still open. So if you want to join next year, but not want to do the full apply early for those shorter distances, because they do sell out. So don't miss out on that. There you go. I'll promote it for you. I'm very happy to. Because always I think that what my guests are doing so exciting. I just want more people to know about it, more people to join, and to like not miss out on the opportunity to give back, but also to give something to yourself. So I think yeah, promote away. Now, final two questions. So one is, are there any questions that I haven't asked you that I should have asked you, or you want me to ask in a different way? Anything we haven't talked about that you wanted to bring up?
All right, I'm gonna turn this back on you because I've babbled so much, um, and I'm very aware that when I get so passionate, I talk a lot, and I'm so sorry, and I don't like for me, it has been. You're right, podcast is interviewing me, but at the same time, I've not really asked you so many questions, so. But I'm going to throw it back onto
Mhm.
you. Like, are there any questions that you haven't asked me that I've gone on too long and
I think we
talked about?
I'm just looking at my notes down here. We talked about the dream to reality and how it's kind of grown and iterated. We talked about burnout. We talked about imposter syndrome. Oh, one topic that we didn't talk about was what we sort of touched on, but maybe we can come round to a little bit more because when we were first talking, I was thinking about isolation, and like how hard it is to like live in Japan for some people. Um, and it's not really a question so much, but I was just thinking about how valuable volunteering can be for a way to people to feel some type of connection. So there is no question to that, but do you have any like comments or things you want to underline about like the how to how to make the most of the time? I said to you what you said at the beginning, right? It's like how can I be the best I can be whilst I'm in Japan?
Um,
Was that a question?
yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this. We touched upon it not today, but previously when we spoke.
Mm.
I guess who I am and look, it's now 6:20 p.m. and it's been a long day of work. I enjoy my job, but I was worried about, do I have the energy for this podcast? Am I going to sound okay? And am I going to touch upon relevant things for your listeners to take away? And the biggest thing I can say is look at me now. Again, I haven't shut up for the past hour and it's the same as you're doing to me, the same as what we do to our participants. And just moving forward with your passion, it makes you smile more and you know, when you're smiling, the world, you said this to me, the world smiles at you. I like to think it is you when you're smiling, you're so attractive to other people.
Mm.
And that's when things happen. That's when collaboration happens. That's when love and energy happens. And I guess that's where that for me is the way I've been and so excited. And yet, after a long day of work, when you're doing something that you love and you're passionate about, you are so attractive to others, and they open so many doors. So that make the most of your day, be the best that you can be, and find ways to implement your passion because you're just going to attract other people. It'll just inspire you to take your idea on, I guess.
And that's just bringing up for me, like, I think once you sort of look under the surface, there are so many meetup groups, volunteers, like different ways and I'm being very like Tokyo centric in my mindset of this. Um, there are loads of things which are already existing that you can join. But if you sort of already know what you're interested in, this has been something which I've done a lot of, which is like just start it yourself and the people will come. And it's like what you did with the Yamathon. You're like, this, like, maybe we can do this. And maybe if we think it's cool, somebody else will think it was cool. So if like the meetup or this group or the thing that makes you smile and be attractive doesn't exist, then and it probably does. It probably already exists, but if it doesn't, or it's like it happens at a time which isn't convenient for you, why not like connect with the organizer and say, how could I do a spin-off of your idea? Because I'm sure that there's other people who wanted to go to whatever volunteer thing or whatever, I don't know. But I'm just like fan making workshop, right? I love it. I didn't make this fan. I just was grabbing a prop. But they can't come because it doesn't work for them. Like there's opportunities in that. So I think that that's about that passion as well. It's not if you build it, they will come. Yeah, we're
I've
full
got
of
a,
cliches, but I
a
really
random thought. I've not spoken to this person
mm,
for years, but a young lady called Naomi. She works in one of the global organizations, and yet she's got this fascination with I think it's Kittyzilla she calls it, and it's like this random. She makes I think comic prints or something, and she still see her going for, and it's amazing to see. So if you hear me, like I've not spoken to you for years, but there's an example of someone Kittyzilla. Go get it.
it is Illa. All right, there you go, everyone. We'll find that, put that in the show notes as well. So yeah, just go out and make it with your passion. I feel like that's kind of answered the last question, but I'll give you a chance to put it succinctly if you'd like to. So if people only take away one message from the whole of our conversation today, Joe, what would you like the listeners to have us there? Words of wisdom from Joe.
Words of wisdom. I'm not sure
Oh,
if
sorry, I've built it up too much. What would you like them to go? Oh, that's cool. I like that.
that's cool. Look, just it's not about life isn't about money. Like we do this for free, and we've been doing it on running on fuel for passion for 15 plus years, and it's about just finding something you love and keep going with it and see where it takes you. So if anything, just oh God, forget whether it's in work or out of work, just find what you love doing and make the world a better place through it. I think that's sounds very cheesy. But hey, that's what it's all about because the world can sometimes can be a dark place, and it's important for people like ourselves to hold a shining light for others. Um, so much going on around the world right now, and we're very privileged. So the fact that we're here on a video call chasing our passions when the other side of the world is people going through hunger, forced hunger. I'm not going to get into politics, but other parts of the first world, even where, there's so many things going on and people's rights are being taken away. We have a right to go forward with our passion. Let's keep going. Let's build a bridge for others who may not have that. That's it.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you for your time, for your passion, for everything that you've done for the Yamathon community, as well as all of the NPOs that you've supported as well. You've made a huge difference over the years.
Sorry,
our
team,
team, you and your team. You, that was the you plural.
Thank you.
Yes, you, Joe, and his team have done. And I'm sure everyone's really grateful and inspired. I've loved talking to you today. And I do hope that we'll get a chance to meet in the northeast of Tokyo at some point. So don't be a stranger. And sorry that I won't be joining the Amazon this year, though. One day it will be on the list.
Right. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Really appreciate it. It's, as you said, it forced me to do something I'm not comfortable with, but I thoroughly enjoyed. And hey, I might do some more podcasts now. So thank you.
Yay! I love it. There you go. So that's a great takeaway for everyone as well. Just like try it, even when it's uncomfortable, and see what happens. It's usually better than you think. And Joe, you've been a brilliant guest. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I can't wait to hear what our listeners take away, what they're inspired to do, and to have even more people get involved with things that make them smile, attractive, and to be the best they can be. So thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much for listening today. I really hope that you found something you could take away from the episode to help you find your own Ikigai and integrate it into your daily life. And I'd love to hear exactly what resonated with you. So pop over to see me on LinkedIn or on my Facebook page. You can find the links in the show notes below. And let me know what you thought was the most important takeaway from the podcast today. And sharing is caring. So feel free to share this episode with one of your friends who you think could benefit from hearing about living a life of purpose. Looking forward to see you on the next episode of Ikigai with Jennifer Shinkai.